Welcome back to Chapter 3 in this optimized prep for Elden Ring and Shadow of the Erdtree. At this point, our stats are amazing for having just ridden around collecting things in the early game for a couple of hours. We've risen to level 53 and took down 2 major bosses who either didn't fight back or jumped to their demise trying to reach us. By the end of this Chapter 3, we will have improved the Bloodhound's Fang to +6, which is way overpowered in the early and even mid-game, and quite adequate to the task of finishing out the game. We are also going to unlock the Royal Capital by defeating the normally fierce Draconic Tree Sentinel. Please subscribe and download all the free maps and guidebooks. Head to the Broiled Prawn Shack and speak with Blackguard Big Boggart there. Purchase Raya's necklace for 1,000 runes, and purchase some broiled prawns as well. Remember to exhaust your dialogue with him. Return back to Raya one last time in this location to return her necklace. She will next meet you on the Altus Plateau after you use the Dectus medallion to ride up the Grand Lift. After exhausting your dialogue with Raya, head west. You're going to a gazebo which is B23 on my maps. Pick up Smithing Stone +2 × 3. Watch out for the giant lobster's ability to spit at you, and note that these lobsters wipe out most early game characters in one shot. Head south to Folly on the Lake Grace. Just south of this are a Smithing Stone +2 × 2, B25 on the maps. Next, ride to the village of the Elbenorics. Once you tag the site of Grace, ride upwards until you find a large lidded jar. There will be a hostile perfumer here that you need to kill or sneak by. Either way, you need to hit the jar once to dispel the illusion, and then let old Albus have his say. Once you have exhausted his dialogue, he disappears but leaves you the first half of the Erdtree secret medallion. This is a late, mid, or end game location. Note in the video, I have to kill that perfumer before I can speak to Albus. From the Folly on the Lake Grace, ride north and a little west towards a church. At Rose Church Grace, tag the Grace and get the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 12. From there, ride towards the Temple Quarter. Snag the Temple Quarter Grace. Ride southeast from here a short ways to the base of a slanted tower and find a chest with the famous ice-rind hatchet weapon. Ride towards Rose Church, but then head east to tag the fallen ruins of the Lake Grace. Return to the Temple Quarter Grace. Then ride north, and you will not miss Glintstone Dragon's Smarag sleeping. It's very easy to ride around him on the ledge to his north and get the 3 items here before he can react. Get the Academy Glintstone Key, the Cuckoo Knives, and a Dragon Wound Grease. From there, ride west and north to the foot of the Belfries Grace. From the Grace, ride north to the 4 red jellyfish. Grab the blood grease in the Jellyfish Shield. Keep riding north to a small camp, Liurnia West Encampment. Ride in fast and grab the Rune Arc and open the chest to get 10 times Cuckoo Glintstones. Just north of the camp, make a hard right-hand turn to the east and ride into the shadowy ledge until you reach a chair with a mummified guy on it. Grab the Somber Smithing Stone +3. Return to the path and continue north a couple of meters, then hard right east again and go to the shoreline to find some nice throwing daggers. Notice all the balloons here. Each one, when popped with your arrows, is a golden rune 6. Shoot all half dozen or so, and then return to the path. Ride to the island with Test 2's Rise, and tag the Sorcerer's Isle Grace. It's B32 on the maps. Ride west back to the path and continue north to the northern Liurnia lakeshore site of Grace. Just north of here is another map. Locate the tower-shaped icon on your game map and ride there and get the local area map. Ride due north from here, riding through the King's Realm ruins to the bricked-in large archway on the north end of the ruins. Strike the wall and the illusion will fade. Run through and grab the road to the Manor Grace. Speak to E.G., exhaust his dialogue, and purchase some Somber Smithing Stones 1, 2, 3, and 4. E.G. sells any amount of number 1s and number 2s, but only has a few plus 3s and plus 4s. Level up our Bloodhound's Fang to plus 4. We are starting to get rather powerful now, yet we're still just preparing. If you're doing a mage build or other, you could start to level up staffs and seals now, but I would wait since we still have some key non-combat preparations to make. Warp back to South Lucaria Gate Grace, and now that you have the key, enter the large shielded doorway. Grab the main academy site of Grace, then go north to the glowing gate and examine the seal. You will arrive at Altus Highway. Grab the East Royal Lucaria Gate Grace. Then go southeast along the cliff edge till you find a spirit spring. Take that down and head west nearby for a Somber Smithing Stone plus 3 on a body on a chair. Take the spirit spring back up. Ride north and a tad west to the Belem Church to get another sacred tear. Grab the grace, and definitely grab all the gold centipedes here. Then visit the merchant hidden just down and past the hole in the floor of the church. Buy some bewitching branches. Sell the merchant some golden runes if you don't have enough cash on hand. These don't work on bosses, but do work on a surprising number of strong enemies. If you can touch an enemy with one of these, they will turn into an ally and they'll attack any of your enemies nearby. This is great when you come upon a tough pair of enemies. Touch only one with the branch and they will fight, leaving you an easier cleanup job. From here, just ride downhill and north until you get to a stream. Follow it north past the poison poppers to a golden tree to get another golden seed. Shortly ahead, at B40 on the maps, is the ravine-veiled village. Enter the first shack to find a smithing stone plus 5. Grab that and then head out of the shack and up the stairs to grab the Ruin-Strewn Precipice Grace. Go up 3 ladders and grab the smithing stone plus 4. You may have to slaughter some small land octopus. Go up another ladder and enter a doorway into a green-lit area. Kill the 3 little vulgar militiamen to avoid their nasty pikes and thrown poison. Target them from a distance if you can and take them out with arrows and or darts. Grab a smithing stone plus 3 at the base of a pillar. Go to the lift and ride it up, but notice the body with loot halfway up. Ride the elevator again and jump at the correct time to get yourself a nice smithing stone plus 5. Try not to fall to your death as you jump back down. Use the lever to recall the elevator and ride it back up. Exit the top of the lift and get a golden rune 5. Further in you will find a rune arc and lightning grease. Keep going till you find a little passage with a silver tier scarab in it. Destroy the scarab to get a somber smithing stone plus 4. Try to avoid the miners as swords have little effect on them. You can kill one with the fang, especially now that we have it leveled up, but a blunt weapon like a mace would do far better damage. After this, you should find the Ruin-Strewn Precipice Grace. Tag the Grace and rest, and apply all your tears and seeds to maximize your healing and FP flasks. The next section might be a little tough, so feel free to skip it. We are only here to get the smithing stones we need to level up a non-magical weapon to level plus 16. Kill or avoid a bunch of bats. Get to a climb where you double back a tiny bit. At the top is a somber smithing stone plus 3. Return back down and go up a ladder. If you get to the ladder and don't see the somber smithing stone plus 3, just look up and back and find a path of rocks you can climb. At the top of the ladder, you will see some green crystals and then an open area with a tent on the right. Behind the tent is a Smithing Stone +5 and Golden Rune 5. Beware the bats. Continue on getting 2 Smithing Stone 4s. You'll see what looks like a lit up human sitting cross-legged on a wooden floor above a short ladder. It's probably singing as well. This is an enemy that will get other bats to come and fight you. In the video I stay alive by running around and going down ladders, baiting the bats to follow me. Then I scamper back up the ladder and continue to do this to get the bats spread out. It's easier for me to kill the ones I must and just leave the others behind me. If you get stuck here, just remember that you need not fight any of them if you know how to bait enemies like these into following you. Go up the next 2 ladders. Look back to the pillar next to you. Jump on the little ledge and walk around the pillar to get a Golden Rune 5. Jump back to the ledge. Up another ladder, find a Smithing Stone +4, and then another tent further on, a Smithing Stone +3. More giant bats to watch out for here. Go up the lift to the Ruin-Strewn Precipice overlook Grace. Tag the Grace and we are done here. At this point we're level 51 and we have most of the smithing stones we need to upgrade a weapon to +16. Return to East Royal Lucaria Gate Grace. Ride north to the Grand Lift. There will likely be some incoming fire as you ride north. Keep going and try not to get hit by a boulder the size of a truck. Along the way, notice a soldier camp. Run in, open the chest, and get the Great Mace free of charge. You might have to aggro the mob and have them chase you away from the camp so you can quickly return and leisurely pick up that mace. My Elden Ring guides are not meant to be cheeses. Rather, they are meant to help all levels of players discern the easiest ways to get the job done. So you often see me running up to fierce opponents, but only to dodge around them, nab their loot, and then get away. Being able to dodge is a critical skill that all players need in order to survive Elden Ring. Now it's a short and easy way to the Grand Lift of Dectus, Site of Grace. Grab the Grace, then head out to the lift structure. You have to stand in the topmost circular pad and then respond positively to the Hoist Medallion query. After you ride the lift up to the Altus Plateau, exit the building and appreciate the view. Also notice Raya on the north side, but don't engage her just yet. Head a short way north to tag the Altus Plateau Grace. Ride northeast of the 2 giants to the Altus Highway Junction Grace. Ride a short distance north to the Golden Tree and get another Golden Seed. Keep riding north to the tower icon symbol on your game map to collect the Altus Plateau local area map. Since we are here, keep riding north along the road until it reaches a broken bridge. Grab the forest-spanning Great Bridge Grace. Meet the merchant here and purchase his cookbook and stone swords keys if you can. Sell some golden runes if you must. There is a transporter gate here. Examine it and travel to its location. You are now on a bridge with a body holding some dragon grease, and next to that is the noble Goldmask. Your game map will now mark his location here, and this will be important later. From here, ride north into the village Windmill pasture. Keep riding up to the Dominula Windmill village and tag the Grace. Warp back to the Altus Highway Junction, Grace. Make your way up the stairs. Though not directly. I recommend going up the left side, avoiding the rune bear in there and slipping past 2 tree sentinels before they can react. Go through the doorway that is partially open and ride down to the golden tree in the circular plaza. If a tree sentinel is following you, just ride a bit further and then return. Grab the 2 seeds here and the local area map. And grab the outer wall phantom tree site of grace. Okay, now warp to B36. That's the main academy site of grace. Go into the building and ride the lift up. You are now in the Academy of Lucaria. May God have mercy on you. Get a Trina's Lily and Lightning Grease here. Then run up the stairs past the 2 mage guards. The trick to getting past the 2 mage guards that hurl magic at you is to either bait them down the stairs, where you can kill them easier one-on-one, or just run by them. The shield is very helpful here. Run into the building and run to your left and hug the wall. Take the first left and left again to a niche holding the Church of the Cuckoo site of grace. Snag the grace, run south and east out of the building. Go across the bridge, head up and right, and then jump down to the creatures worshipping a headstone. Pick up the splendid Carian knight armor. This is the next best option for getting free, very good armor in the early game if you choose not to take deeds. Head uphill again and go through a building to get to the paddle wheel-like structure. Jump onto one of the platforms moving up and ride it to the top, then jump off to enter a building and snag the schoolhouse classroom grace. Head back out and now work your way back to the giant paddle wheel-like elevator contraption. Jump on and ride down to the bottom. Now you have to be quick here. Your goal is to be trapped and eaten by one of these Iron Virgin machines, but only after you pick up the nearby Longtail Cat Talisman, so study the video carefully to know where to get it. After you get the Longtail Cat Talisman and the Smithing Stone +5, run to a corner and cower there, like the coward that you currently are. The maiden will come for you. Let her suck you in. If you've been following my guides, then you likely have way more HP than is expected in this area of the lands between, so she might have to eat you more than once to finally kill you. You then get a "you died" message, but really you did not. Instead, you've been transported to the magma at the lower levels of the Volcano Manor and associated buildings. You are also trapped here, but fear not, you only have 2 challenges. The first, jump down at the correct place to avoid dying, and the second is to simply jump across a small gap to a door that you can then open to get out of this trap. As usual, I show the easy ways to do all this. There is also a more complicated path, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. Follow the video to see where to jump down. Unless you use cotton and or the newly acquired Longtail Cat Talisman, you will lose 50% health on this jump. There is no other place to jump from here to that area below and survive, so watch the video closely. Heal up and continue out of the magma. Your first goal is to climb the building roof to get where you can see a body on the edge of a roof in front of you. Once you get there, you are rewarded with a Smithing Stone 5. See the video for details. Drop down from the roof and make your way up the only staircase. Wait for the snaky lizard-like creature to walk away from you and move into the cage, which is an elevator, in front of you. Go up to the top and get the Somber Smithing Stone +5. We will soon upgrade our Bloodhound's Fang sword to +6, which is the highest level possible during these minimal combat preparations. But first we must get free of this trap. To get out of the trap, return to the building and find a ladder to climb to a ledge with a locked door. Simply move to the right side as you face the door and jump to the ledge next to the one you are on. It's very easy, but it may take a few tries. Once across, go through the doorway on your left, run in hugging the left, and grab the Guest Hall Grace. Dispatch the various weak creatures and get some exploding great bolts and the Black Dumpling helmet for your trouble. There's a Golden Rune 9 at the bottom level. You can also open a door in this building that leads outside, guarded by a snake lizard thing. But we are now free of the trap and have lots of new loot to get. So now, warp back to the Aguil Lake South Grace in southern Limgrave. That's A39B on my annotated maps. Ride a short distance west to tag the Seaside Ruins site of Grace, then ride north into the Dragonburnt Ruins. You are looking for a staircase to a basement. Go down those stairs, kill all the rats, open the door, open the chest, and let the teleportation occur. Welcome to Celia Crystal Tunnel. You materialize inside a shack. Grab the Gravity Stone fan and Gravity Stone chunk and exit. Go down to tag the Grace. Return to the cabin where you started and notice the glintstone miners and 3 kindreds of rot insect-like things. You can follow my path in the video to behind the shack you first appeared in and grab 2 smithing stones plus 5, or you could do after we clean up the enemies. In the video, I return to the Grace and then re-enter the mine, this time with the intention to clear out the bugs. Since we are still at a low level, I find it best to bait the insects and kill them with the Bloodhound's Fang sword. But the sword does not work well on the miners, so I bring a mace or club for those. You can also kill the kindreds from far away with your bow. Sit in the tunnel from the Grace and shoot up at them till you have all 3 down. It's important to remove them as their spell, Pest Threads, will tear you apart quickly, so either run past these bugs or get rid of them. After I cleared out 2 of the bugs, I run back behind the shack to get the 3rd smithing stone plus 5. Then run up the path to get another smithing stone plus 5. Then turn back and jump to the roof of the shack that still has a bug in front of it. Then jump over the small gaps to land in a new tunnel ahead and avoid getting impaled by a miner intent on ambushing you. Once he's gone, grab the smithing stone plus 5. Go up the ladder, double back to the ledge, and get a Somber Smithing Stone plus 4. Look through the opening into the next large area and see that you could snipe the kindred on the top of the upper shack. Cross over the planks and open the chest in the small shack for the Rock Blaster spell. Continue over to the little alcove and pluck 2 smithing stone plus 5s from the wall. You might have to take out a couple of bugs too. Go around the main building, climb the short ladder, and head left for another Somber Smithing Stone plus 4. Continue into the mine shaft and pick up a Dragon Wound Grease. Run into the room on the left, ignoring the 2 large kindred on a platform. While here, pick the final Somber Smithing Stone 4 and dispatch any kindreds that followed you here. Now exit this room and rush the stage. Kill the 2 kindred there if you like, but grab the Faithful's Canvas Talisman. You can now run all the way downhill, jumping down sides of buildings to reach your initial arrival position. Run from there down to the Grace and then outside in order to warp out of here, since we did not take out the boss. Warp back to the Outer Wall Phantom Tree site of Grace. That's B48 on my maps. Right east and downhill to a pond. Kill the invisible scarab to get a very useful prayerful strike Ash of War. Note, when you're trying to kill these invisible scarabs, the easiest way to do it is using the Hoarfrost Stomp Ash of War, which is on the Ice Rind Hatchet that we picked up earlier. Any area of effect weapon, any AoE weapon is superb for intercepting these invisible scarabs. Head to the south end and enter the mineshaft there. Save at the Sealed Tunnel Site of Grace. The Sealed Tunnel has 4 or 5 illusionary walls that are only in the beginning area and super obvious. Dispel the illusionary walls by hitting them and find a chest with a Smithing Stone Miner's Ball Bearing. This allows you to purchase all the Smithing Stone +1s and +2s you would ever want. Go forward and ride an elevator down. There is a Golden Rune 5 along the way. The next room is tricky, so be sure to return here with no runes held. Before jumping onto the giant logs, make your way into the wooden building. Kill all the pesky little guys and find a stone sword key. You want to get to the bottom level. Hide behind the glowing statue until the maiden smashes it open for you. Meanwhile, there are tons of those little vulgar militiamen, so I recommend getting all of them with arrows from above before descending to the bottom. Once the maiden breaks the statue, grab the 3 Smithing Stone +6s. It's quite likely that the maiden will destroy you, but that's okay. Just respawn, run back down here. The vulgar militiamen will respawn, of course, but if you've picked up the smithing stones from the floor, you don't really need to go down there anymore. Then either respawn or climb the long ladder back up to the initial ledge in which you entered this area. Now walk the log across to the wooden platform. Now walk the log across to the wooden platform. Pick up a gold pickled foulfoot on the log. Descend an opening in the right side as you enter. Explore and get a bunch of runes along with the kukri throwing knives. Beware of the exploding balls. Go down the green logs and get another Smithing Stone 5. Keep jumping safely to the bottom and get a Golden Rune 9. Enter the boss room and get slaughtered so you can respawn at the entrance and then exit this site. I'm always amazed at how huge the enemies are here. They're always like 2 or 3 times our size. At this point in the video, I return to the round table holds to upgrade our weapons, and I am treated to a round table invasion. The round table itself is super dark and empty of NPCs until the invader comes for you. Don't panic and use the Bloodhound's Fang Ash of War left trigger to easily dispatch the invader. The invader is, in fact, the guy that was standing by the all-knowing Gideon's office door. After you get rid of him, you are rewarded with the Clinging Bone. The area resets and you return to a normal round table hold. Go to where that guy was standing and pick up the Royal Remains armor set dropped here. This is good armor for the early and middle game as it heals you. Start from the Altus Plateau Grace, which is B43, and ride north past the Lux Ruins to the Erdtree Gazing Hill Site of Grace. Grab the nearby golden seed. Ride east and down into the camp. Make a hard right turn when you enter the camp and get the Great Shield Talisman from the large coffin there. If you ride directly over to the other coffin, the ballistas will likely mess up your day. So take out all 3 of those and then return and open up the other coffin to get the Troll's Golden Sword. Ride north from here to a silver scarab that gives the Ash of War Blood Blade. That's A58 on the map. Keep heading north to find the old Altus Tunnel. You need to use a stone sword key to get in. This is a very important location and the last of our preparation for being able to upgrade 2 magic weapons to +6. Note that this location is the only location to get a Somber Smithing Stone +6 in the early game. In fact, there are 2 of them here, but nowhere else. Only if you proceeded into the mid-game could you get more. Ride the lift down and get a Smithing Stone +5 next to the first shack. Enter the big room and stay to the right and climb the ladder. Sneak into the next area and hug the left wall to get the Somber Smithing Stone +6 hidden there. Kill or run past the enemies in this room to get the Smithing Stone +5. Now go into the shack and get the Bolt Drake Talisman +1. Return to the main area and drop down 1 ladder. From here you can see the area has a few powerful knights. Either run past them to grab loot, not caring if they get to you, or fight them. In any case, you should be able to get 6 Smithing Stone +5s, a Somber Smithing Stone +4, another Somber Smithing Stone +5, and 2 Somber Smithing Stone +6s. The 2 Somber Smithing Stone +6s are very important. This is the only place that you can get them in the early game. This area was vexing for me because of how easily the knights would gang up on me. And I was in a hurry, so mostly I just ran in, grabbed the loot item, and then got killed, and then repeated the process. I recommend you do the same. In this small shack is a troll's hammer that is worth getting as well. The Somber Smithing Stone +4 is in another shack with 2 rabid dogs, and the Smithing Stone +5 on the right side of the shack. There's a small path that leads to an area with 2 Smithing Stone +5s and a Somber Smithing Stone +5. There's only a few more seconds of this video. I'll let it run so that if you need to, you could see the actual locations of these various smithing stones. I get wasted again. That was kind of nutty, but it is easy. You just run in again and again and get what you need. So now we can return to the round table hold and finally get the Bloodhound's Fang up to +6, which is crazy overpowered in the early game. Let's unlock the capital now. As usual, I'll provide you with one of the easiest ways to do this. We're back to the outer wall phantom tree side of grace, B48. Head north and right up the stairs, ignoring the giant gargoyle that swoops in on you. At the top of the stairs, find another golden tree, so grab the 2 golden seeds located there. Head east up more stairs to a giant set of locked doors and grab the Lost Ashes of War. Head north to the outer wall battleground site of grace. Note that before you get there, a version of Margit will appear. So we're riding up to this little guy, and then you'll hear Margit's voice, and you can see this guy transforms into a version of Margit. And it's kind of a tough fight, depending on your skill level. You can fight if you want, but it requires some skill, and since we are in preparation mode, I choose to ignore him and rest at the grace. If you do fight this version of Margit, be sure to use the Margit Shako we purchased from Patches. Now ride east and slightly north up to the broken stone stairs. Then ride to the Hermit Merchant Shack Site of Grace. You should find a Smithing Stone +5 along the way. Rest at the Grace and memorize the Poison Mist spell. And be sure to have a seal equipped. Also important, be sure to equip at least 4, but better 5 blue flasks. Head north of the shack to a small altar that holds the Winged Crystal Tear. Pick up the tear and head back to the merchant's shack. So head east, and more east, and yet more east, just east. And then right east to the top of the cliff edge here, you should see one of those statues that when you examine it will sort of send a laser light towards a point of interest and also mark your game map. After you inspect the statue, use your bow and arrow on a bunch of eagles that are always here to get flight pinions. Then sneak your way to this point just inches behind the Draconic tree sentinel here. Do not fight him. Instead, just cast the poison mist from standing right behind him. If you didn't aggro him on your sneak to this position, casting the spell won't either. After casting one time, wait. Wait at least 10 seconds, maybe 15, and then you should start to see the poison proc on his health bar. But wait, be patient until the health bar stops showing damage, which is around 1,000. Don't overcast because you'll run out of FP. So this entire process can take a few minutes. When the number of poison proc damage vanishes from around 1,000 or 950 or whatever, then cast again and wait. At our mind level, we're lucky to be able to cast this spell 3 times before we have to refill our magic with another blue flask. So I recommend you bring at least 4. The key to this victory is to be patient. Fight him if you want some excitement, of course, but don't be surprised if you end up a smear on his ridiculously huge weapon. And remember, almost all Elden Ring enemies will hit just as hard if they have only 1 HP left. So in this case, just let the poison do its thing to the bitter end. In the video, I get bored and take him down with the Bloodhound's Fang, but he was almost done anyway. After you defeat him, get rewarded with the Dragon Great Claw and the Dragon Claw Shield. In the video, you can see that after we reduce the Draconic Tree Sentinel to dust, the doorway behind him is still locked. Don't worry, as we are still too weak to be going through that door now anyway. Please join me for Chapter 4, the last chapter in this series. We're going to defeat Mogh. We're going to get Mogh's Great Spear, 600,000 more runes, and we're also going to knock off Stormville Castle.